Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
On a week where the crown jewels of motor racing are underway internationally, this is Australia's version of one of those crown jewels. The Coke 600, 600 miles from the legendary Charlotte Motor Speedway. And tonight, the Australian NASCAR Championships will have their own version. There's also the Indy 500 and Monaco Grand Prix, so this is a wondrous weekend to be a fan of racing, a terrible weekend if you're a fan of getting some shut-eye in between all the racing action that's going on. And Dorman, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Rankin and Aaron Dorman on the call tonight, and Dean Hompton, as usual, behind the scenes, pulling all the strings. We are another step forward. We are at the very last race in that first column of the challenges that the drivers have to face. We are on the run towards the regular season finale, which will be at Daytona on the weekend of August the 3rd. Tell you what, can't believe we're already this far into the season. It has gone by in a flash.
It has flown by. So hello and welcome to Charlotte for the Australian NASCAR Championships. We've got 134 laps around this magnificent circuit tonight. We're looking forward to it. There's going to be a bit of strategy. Who can keep it clean? Who can go further on fuel? Who can save those tyres? Is that most important thing? And who gets that clean out way out in front?
One of the biggest things I've sort of noticed from the series thus far is it's starting to become a little bit of a race of two at the tippy top. Zach Kerr has earned his third win to match Matt Danson atop the championship standings, but the one name that's still yet to earn a race victory is probably Brad Newman. You would have thought by now he would have had one. Ethan Winter's been quick enough to put himself in contention in all of those races as well. His biggest issue has been maintaining pit lane speed limit. Isn't that one of the things? The amount of times that Winter's been in contention for a race win only to lose it through speeding on pit lane, it's now absurd. So anyway, qualifying now in the books, gridding underway from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and that is what the infield looks like. Ethan Winter will earn himself another pole position. He is becoming quickly the king of qualifying for the Vortex Sim Sports entry. Lewis Greathead will show to turn of speed to his outside. Zach Kerr, after winning again last time out, will be on row number 2. Lock on me to his outside. Brad Newman and Tom Freer are going to make up row number 3 of the Singy Sim Racing try. Tom actually walked away from Pavilion Esports. Not 100% sure where exactly he's landed as yet. Get more updates as the night progresses. Shane Bowen and Josh Micklemore at a 7th and 8th. Ryan Jones has been a little bit of a controversial figure in and amongst the Australian NASCAR series over the last few weeks. Sam Chapman will be to his outside. Tolly Williams and Fitzroy Beaumont. Good to see Fitzroy actually finding some speed in qualifying form for him. Outside of the top 12, 13th and on back. That says to me Matt Danson might have tapped the wall on one of his qualifying laps and ruined his run. 29.878 for him, not quick enough to bring him up the field. Stevie Williams will be outside. Jamie Ritchie-Price out of 15th, Dave Douglas alongside him, Brenton Hobson and Jaden Russell 17th and 18th. Grant Matterford and Jason Holmesworth are going to round out the top 20. Sam Smith and Darren McKenzie outside of 21st and 22nd. Aaron Gilbert and Henry King 23rd and 24th, and bringing us to the rear end of the field. A couple more drivers at the back. Brenton West, Alex Sheridan and Wayne Burke, the only driver to fail to set a time. He will start off the rear of the field. But yeah, Danson, that's probably one of his worst qualifying performances in a good while here, Dorman. So he'll have some work to do, but that's never stopped him before.
He's just been on the radio having a little bit of wheel trouble, has to reconnect it. He's just come on the radio again saying he's good, but that could be something to keep an eye out on.
That might have been a little bit of work to look after that machine before the race as well. Sometimes it needs a control alt delete and a reset. Might have got that one in just in time. 134 laps to go the journey here tonight. He's going to take us directly through to 200 miles of this famed racetrack. It's the home of NASCAR in the United States. And here we go. 200 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's not 600. It's only a third of that. But this is going to be a war zone nonetheless. As they enter down into 1 and 2 for the first time tonight. Field of 27 cars have taken the green flag. And here we go. They'll settle themselves in. Tyre fall-off is going to be a big problem for these guys here tonight. But track is relatively cool here, Dorman, for what is effectively the American Spring.
Ethan Winter come out to a good jump, but he's just lost that bit of advantage. He's got Zach Kerr riding in behind him and Lewis Greathead on his outside. Going into 1 and 2, start off to lap 2 now. That bottom row just sitting there nice and tight. That's probably the better way to run at the moment. Just fall in single file, save those tyres. Zach Kerr's not waiting around. He wants that clean air. Brad Newman's right in behind him. A little side draft through the mid corner. That outside line will have the momentum and that advantage coming onto the pit straight there. They are side by side. See Ethan Winter trying to run that high line just to keep as much of that mid-corner speed, that advantage through. He's got him cleared going into the back straight. So there's Zach Kerr looking on the bumper of Ethan Winter there. We've got Jared Filsell on the YouTube chat wanting a Newman point of view. So we'll get that to you shortly. He's right in the box seat to see these two battling it out. Single file up the front, or a little bit cheeky, a little bit further back. You see that 41 of Tom Frere just come to the side a little bit earlier than I believe Shane Bowen might have expected.
I believe that is a Tom Frere as well. I was wondering where he'd land. He's actually going to make contact, and that's going to trigger the first caution of the night. The 19 machine hard into the fence. And Tom Frere lands on him a little bit on the run into 1.
And a few cars get caught up in that too. We're just trying to get that Brad Newman point of view, but all that kind of interrupted it. So that's just going to have to wait as we're going to pull up a replay of what's going on now. You see the 19s just along the grass there. 41. Or the 19 just kind of comes up the track, turns himself across the nose of the 41. Oh. Few cars lucky to get through that, and a few cars do not. Or another hit at the end by the 03 machine.
I believe that'll be Aaron Gilbert who gets collected.
We're on board with Lachlan Mead here. Just getting turned. Oh, that is violent hit in the wall. He might have to go to the infield care centre for that one. His race is likely to be done.
And there is a banking transition right at the point where those two cars triggered to make contact. But Mead was, you would have to say, a little high on the entry to turn 1 relative to everyone around. Rips the left front tyre off of Tom Frere's car. both of those cars will be done for the day. You can see the 19 machine smoking and barely rolling away. Alexander Sheridan, new entry to the series, gets promoted after other entries failed to make starts to this point. Managed to come to a complete stop and avoid the incident. And Freer comes down a fraction at the same time that Mead comes up. So
that is a huge hit in the wall. And then we can see, I think, the 96 piles into the 19 there.
So a ton of cars involved. 98, it might have been a Stephen Williams, is in pit lane for an extended stay at the moment. Sam Chapman's in pit lane as well. Aaron Gilbert getting damage repairs. There was heavy contact to that of Sam Chapman. Rear end of that car and front end of that car. I would say he's going to be done for the day.
A lot of competitive cars out early. It's lap 7 at the moment. Who's going to decide to come in, maybe top up a splash of fuel, just to extend that strategy out just a little bit further?
Well, the critical thing for those who come down for fuel at the back end of this race, Dorman, as well, fuel mileage expected tonight, somewhere up around, at a stretch, you can make it 60 laps. So if you run at 60 laps from here, that gets you to the halfway mark of the race. The problem is you need to run 67 laps on the back half of the race. So probably looking for somewhere, if you want to make it home from here, 63 laps will get you to the end of lap 70. And from there, you need about 63, 64 laps to get home as well. So it's a very, very long run.
It'll depend on if there's any cautions in between now and then.
Well, we get one more caution. Even next lap, I'd be willing to come down and bet we can probably run to the end from here. That'd be enough for me to want to top up. The difficulty and the strategy options the drivers have available to them tonight. 4 sets of tyres for the race. I doubt anyone would have used their tyres thus far. But effectively, if this becomes a one-stopper, then might be worthwhile taking a set of tyres. But this one's on the verge of becoming a fuel-save race. And the big thing, Dorman, is when you get into a fuel-save race, well, cautions tend to become fewer and farther between as well.
An interesting strategy play. Like, they've got to stretch those tanks a lot further. That caution kind of doesn't fall into a position that helps anybody on the track.
No, at the moment it doesn't. It will net an advantage to a couple of cars.
As we go green again, a good jump by Zach Kerr. It's cleared him by a car length or two. Brad Newman on the inside of, I believe, Ethan Winter, with Lewis Greathead right behind him out of Vermilion Esports. And followed by Ryan Jones for DPR Sim Racing, and then Shane Bowen in behind him. It's all tightening up at that back end of the top 10 there. These drivers are going to want to make as many positions early as possible. There's less distance between cars to make up. This is where you're going to pass 2, 3, 4 cars easily before everyone stretches out. We're on board with Fitzroy Beaumont, just having a look on the inside of Josh Mickelmore. Might just get the nose under that rear quarter panel. Keep Josh out high. He will get that run off the corner. You can see how much difference that high line just makes. Fitzroy might got a little bit tight on exit there, which just slows his run down that quad oval.
Yeah, just looking at pulling back just a fraction at the moment. Zach Kerr has again stepped out in front. This time, though, Brad Newman will be following in his shadows. The rest of the field, you get the feeling the bulk of these guys will be in tyre conservation mode, looking for a 60-lap fuel set. You want to split it in 3. You can do so. That window will open from about lap 45. Touch early, 44. You can get home out of 44. For those runs, fuel won't be the major figure. But with the caution already on lap 7, Has that done enough to create a strategy where the undercut will open up? 2 stops required on fuel at the moment. But
Danger play with that game is if you get stuck a lap down, so the caution, that very much hinders your race and limits your strategy again. But if this looks like going green, and like you say, if they're in fuel save mode for a long time, you can have 1 or 2 cars, just throw that out the window and go full beans, not care about their tyres, swap out about lap 42, 45, then go to lap 90, and then it's another 44 lap run to the end. We're all single file, so that tells me tyre conservation is king. No one wants to pass, no one wants to run it too hard. As the run goes longer, they will move off that bottom line. It'll be harder to keep it tight to that bottom line. They'll drift up the racetrack and they'll start running the middle line to the top line just to protect that right front.
Sam Chapman and Aaron Gilbert have moved from what we thought might have been short stays on pit road to extended stays. Both of them now moving to 8 laps down as well. So in heavy involvement in that first caution. Brenton Hobson's lost connection with the lead pack. He has significant damage on the front end of his race car as well. Stephen Williams, the other car, massively impacted. Both of those cars, significant front end damage. They're going to become the walking wounded for the remainder of the night.
I want to chip off any bit of damage they can during any cautions if they tend to fall, or these guys being some of the best in Australia, if not the best, you'll find the racing might just clean up. They had that early one, got the nonsense out of the way, fall into line and enjoy just these battles. None of the cars are all that far apart from each other until the back end. You can see up to 21st is only 5 seconds behind the leader.
Tyler Williams is probably the first big differential in the running pack. Currently sits about 7.5 tenths off the lead group of 6, which you can relatively throw a blanket over them at the moment. And Ryan Jones in the number 11 machine is one of those cars inside the lead group of 6, and there you can see that little margin between Shane Bowen and Tyler Williams.
So yeah, that front 6, a little bit of breakaway pack, and then 6 through the 10ths, another close pack. That outside wall off turn 2 comes up so quick. We'll see a lot of cars just kiss that wall for a little bit. And then coming off turn 4, the cars naturally get very loose as these tyres wear on. Once they get about 30 to 40 laps into that stint, these cars will be an absolute handful. You see Zach Curtis.
Josh Mickelmore's just moved to the outside of Tyler Williams, and he'll get that job done down the back straight. Williams will relinquish that spot comfortably. Sort of lift it and let him go. You're going to have comers and goers all night long in NASCAR. Drivers are the good front end of a stint, drivers are the good the middle, and drivers are good the back end. And a middle run car isn't necessarily a great long run car either.
We see Mickelmore just trying to close up that gap to the leaders. He might be pushing a little bit too hard. As you can see, one of those hits on the wall there, a little cloud of dust. Zach Curtis just pulled himself out to a half-second lead, nearly a 0.6-second lead. Danson just looking on the inside of Darren McKenzie there, trying to fix his poor qualifying effort. Another car's just having a look on the inside there of Wayne Burke. You see that car got a little bit loose on the entry. You see him drift up right out to that wall. Few cars getting loose on the exit. That last car in the group looked a little bit loose. Here we're looking at the 89 of Wayne Burke, just having a look on the inside. He's got a mega run off that corner. He's going to get up to the side of him. Bit too far away to side draft. Wayne's going to come down and side draft him a little bit there into 1 and 2. And he's cleared him to then have a go at the back of Matt Danson again, who's now looking on the inside of Brenton West in that number 13 Toyota Supra, who goes up way high and lets him pass. Danson's on an absolute charge right now.
That'll open the door as well for a run at the 14 machine. Jamie Ritchie-Price picks this one off. That'll move him up to 12th spot. Danson will become the second driver in queue who has made a pit stop at the moment. We're seeing changes to P2, and Ethan Winter will finally get a run. Unfortunately for Ethan Winter, got to witness some dirt oval driving. You won't see him normally in the series on a Thursday night, or at least not consistently, and the reason for that is runs in Oceanic Dirt Sim Events Sprint Car Series on Thursday nights. Unfortunately, he's defending champion at the moment. Lewis Greatham was looking to try and build a run. Got tight as Newman moved up the track and covered the error. Brent Hobson down and on the apron. Lap traffic at the moment. I think that might be a car on the way back to pit lane for retirement. But yeah, for Ethan Winter, championship very much over. And he is the defending champion of Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. So needed a strong run from Oswego.
Guys might be falling off here a little bit. He's just under attack by Lewis Greathead now. Looked like he had the run on him through the middle of 1 and 2 there. Few cars looking pretty racy. Bowen's looking racy on the back of Jones. They're tightening up. Micklemore's just taking a little chip of time out of him, a little bit of distance each time around to try and drag this second group right up to the front pack. Here's Holdsworth on the outside of Fitzroy Beaumont there. Familiar Motorsports. Fitzroy's had a pretty good run the last few races.
Brenton Hobson's going to dive to pit lane as well, and that, I believe, might be the end of his night. So he'll now spend an extended period of time. I hope that car got switched off. I wonder whether or not the engine might have actually expired out on racetrack. So,
unfortunate way to finish the race this early on. Very familiar with that scenario, unfortunately. See Fitzroy just having another look at the back of Holdsworth as we look on to Ryan Jones and Shane Bowen just in behind him. Shane's got a relatively good run in his draft there. He's going to look high, he's going to look low. He's going to follow the same line.
oh boy, Matt Danson got his nose chopped off by Fitzroy Beaumont in behind as well. Beaumont did not want to relinquish that spot on the run down into 1 and 2. That means Danson will probably move around the racetrack. That's a big send into 3 and 4. Long period of time spent out of gas. Check the flames out the exhaust pipe when they get into the corner. And now Danson will get under him on the front straight away. Welcome to quad ovals in NASCAR. It's a front straight with 2 kinks in it. A tri-oval.
He's got Holdsworth in his sights in front, but he's still got to clear Fitzroy Beaumont there. Fitzroy's just going to try and side draft him. Oh, what a shot that is. You can see how close they are together. These drone shots are super good.
Would you say super good?
Super good.
Super good.
We'll get that Toyota sponsorship in no time.
Big thing about the Xfinity cars as well. Keep your eyes on the flames. They'll come out the exhaust pipes as we get down here into 3 and 4. See that? Backfire? That lets you know when the cars are off throttle. When those flames stop, that's them picking the throttle back up again.
What I noticed there, the 11 of Ryan Jones was in the throttle a lot earlier than Lewis Greathead ahead there. He's off throttle to about that mid-corner. You see Jones, nearly gets squeezed into the fence there. There wasn't much of room. Lewis Greathead didn't want to give it to him. He's going to go deep into this corner. He's going to push up. Try and get that run out, but that outside line now is starting to be the preferred line for people. It's getting the better run off the corner. 32 laps into this race.
About 13 laps or so away from that first window opening for the two-stop strategy. Now, it will be faster to come earlier in those pit windows, and the reason for that is you get yourself a fair bit freer. The problem being picking off traffic. Charlotte Motor Speedway, particularly over at turn 3 and 4, rather narrow. You'll see the groove trend up towards the wall. And the awkwardness of the front straightaway and the quad oval. Passing just a touch more difficult from Charlotte. That's Stephen Williams on the bottom end of the racetrack as well. Impacted in that first wreck of the night.
Having no hood there, that's going to make it a lot slower down those main straights. He's going to have a huge disadvantage. That's how he's already lost that lap. We see Jason Holdsworth on the battle with Tyler Williams there. Matt Danson not far in behind it. You can see he's only 600ths off of the second of the lead. Big slide up the track by Jason Holdsworth there as we're just navigating that lap traffic as Stevie Duff. It's allowed Matt Danson to really range up. He's still got the grip to fire it in that low line. Will he get the drive off the corner? No, he won't. Jason's going to hold it and keep that advantage coming in turn 1 and 2. So Matt Danson's got to look for a different spot around the track to maybe see where his car's running better than Holdsworth in front, or if he can use a bit of lap traffic as his advantage, but does not look like there's anything coming up ahead. Back having a look at Lewis Greathead with Shane Bowen in behind and looking forward to Ryan Jones. So Jones has been a controversial figure in the truck race a few weeks ago. He had a bit of an incident with Brad Newman. He's looking to just clear that from his memory and run this as a whole different series. Currently 4th, started 9th, so he is up another 5 positions.
I don't think it's hidden knowledge in any stretch of the way that Jones is not a fan of Newman.
Jones has been used up at the end of a few races lately, and he's just let his temper get the best of him. See, on board on the roof of Shane Bowen now. There's those flames we were talking about. Those flames are just going for longer and longer every lap, so they can get that grip through that mid-corner, roll around with the maximum momentum they can. It's a lot of single file. As we're looking at the move from 16 of...
I can tell you, I was just listening in
Troy
that
Beaumont,
dance, and I just heard the use of the clutch as he entered turn 1 and turn 2.
but they are trying to fuel save. There's a bit of a slide job up there by the 27 I should say, of Jaden Russell. Fitzroy Beaumont in behind, not going to be too happy with that. He was fighting the car in front. Jason's just made the ground on Tyler Williams now. Will he lose it through the corner? Looks like the 34's got the bottom a lot better, but that number 8 will have that momentum coming off the corner. Tyler's going to want to side draft him, just slow him down. Put that parachute on that rear spoiler. Yep, so, Matt Danson not too happy about how Tyler's racing. We'll look at Lewis Greathead there on the inside of Ryan Jones. These three have closed up massively. Wonder if the lead car of Ryan Jones made a little bit of mistake there. See, Ryan's on the outside of 1 and 2, dives it in deep. He's getting a bit tight, pushing up towards the wall. We'll get on the throttle a little bit earlier. You see Jones just try and side draft a little bit. They're a bit too far away for that to have much of an effect. Right up against the wall. That low side just loses that momentum through that mid corner. And then we've got Josh Mickelmore just buying into the back of this. This could be 2x2 in not very long. And there it is, 2x2 around this racetrack. Now, who's going to be brave enough to split them and look at making it 3 wide? Josh Mickelmore's looking racy.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's just been turned over the nose of the 38 there. We thought he was going to hold it, but that has triggered our second caution for the night.
And, well, that's going to trigger a little bit of
beef there.
Necessarily think that was beef. I think that was just different drivers checking up at different points in time.
Do you see the 38 just come up the track?
I think Mickelmore came down. I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
No, you can see that.
There you go.
It's a little bit of both. The 38's just, if you watch the dotted line underneath the... We're on board with Josh Mickelmore, so we won't get to see that again. Well, he's holding it pretty straight. It's a hard one to call. I think the 31 dropped a little bit and the 38 come up a little bit. We're getting our pit stops all done now. This will be their first set of tyres. See, everyone just dives straight in.
Oh, hang on!
Something's happened there.
Number 13 of Brenton West went into the barriers, and there was contact in the pit stall there. And that was triggered by Jaden Russell in behind. I think they were both going for their stall. And
That Kerr's got the advantage over Ethan Winter, then Brad Newman.
so, pit cycle now, and that was right on the pit window too. So this will make this a one stop and effectively eliminates the fuel save strategy from the race. I can tell you Danson was on that one. He was aware and awake to it.
So now, this next stint, you're running out to about lap 90 to 100 would be my prediction if we go green. You're 4 sets of tyres, so makes sense to use as many as you can while leaving a set at the end of the race for potential green and white checker. You see the 03 there of Aaron Gilbert. That is a lap car. When we come to 1 to go, that will get waved around, as you can see just there. As he's hit it into the wall. He's got to catch his lap back up, join on the back of this field. Zach Kerr will lead this field back to green after this lap. Got Ethan Winter on his outside, Brad Newman in behind him. Lewis Greathead, Ryan Jones, Shane Bowen, Jason Holdsworth, Tyler Williams, Matt Danson and Wayne Burke rounding out your top 10 on this restart.
Yeah, ODSC apparently we're giving Ethan motivation for Oceanic Dirt Sim events. Or ODSC. Good. I want to see him fired up. Gives him a little bit of extra horsepower on the tank when a driver's just the right amount of angry. You can't be too far, of course. But in the meantime, Zach Kerr The moment will lead us back to green flag racing. Fresh set of tyres. Who's made some swings at the car? Taking some adjustments that's going to improve their race car into the restart zone and leaving it late. Zach back to the green. Winter, an okay getaway, but not a great one alongside. Here comes Brad Newman to the inside. We'll have the low line. Shorter way around the racetrack. When you don't have the momentum, and Winter keen to cover up the run of Ryan Jones in behind. Jones was a touch loose as he moved back to the high side. There's going to be a cover from Lewis Greathead in the middle of the pack. Shane Bowen's going to try and rip the top. He lost spots at that pit cycle, and now he's going to go and try and earn some of them back.
Smashed the wall there. That's not going to help his run. He's just going to pull into the line in front of Jason Holdsworth and Tyler Williams there. Oh, we're running out of room there. Jason's just been boxed in here a little bit. That's the first three. Skip away a little bit over Ryan Jones. Couple of car lengths in it. So Jason, a little bit loose on entry. Just come up the track. Problem with these restarts is there's just so much congestion. It's the easiest way to make spots, but also the most risky. You're not going one at a time, you're going two or three. You can get boxed in, put yourself in positions you're not very comfortable with. You see a big wiggle of the tail from 34 of Tyler Williams there.
That's because Weinberg was trying to line him up and get to the low side of him. He will get down there, dump a little bit of air on the left-hand side of the 34 machine as well.
Looking off the back of Jason Holdsworth there. See, Jason's just riding right up to the back of Shane Bowen. Just hasn't quite got any advantage over him just yet. All these drivers just finding their pace, getting these tyres up to tank. You see cars running the outside to try and just take that momentum, trying something different.
Well, just keep an eye on that lighter coloured car and the 8 machine of Holdsworth, because what you'll see, if you keep an eye on the lines that he's running in the corner, see how he's a fraction lower in the mid-corner? He's got a little bit of splitter underneath the cars ahead. And watch him when he gets down here into turn 3 and turn 4. Is that he's going to enter a fraction later and turn down later, and then he gets the nose underneath these guys. So looking for fresh air. Little ways that you can keep downforce on the nose of the car. It doesn't have to be much, but just a touch of air moving over the aero surfaces of the car. Of course, on a straight, you don't want none of that.
You want to be tucked close to the back of the car down those straights, and any bit of fresh air you can. You can see exactly what we were saying just then. He was about a car width lower on the exit. He's managing to get right down on the corner, like there's a huge gaggle of the cars. You got the 16 there. Just clip the apron. Just come up the track a little bit. Would have scared a couple of cars around him. Fitzroy Beaumont, and then I think that was Jamie Ritchie Price in the 14 pink machine in front of him.
Alex Sheridan, we mentioned, was the new entry of the series. And Jaden Russell just ahead of him. Russell, the remaining Synergy Sim Racing car of 3. After first caution took Freer and Hobson both out. And now to the inside and clearing. 34 of Williams at the moment. Williams, tell you what, Williams looks a touch tight. He looked a touch tight in that entire run.
See if he made any adjustments to free that car up a little bit further through this stint. You see the top two have skipped away, nearly a second from first to third now. And then a huge gap back to Ryan Jones. So first 4 cars are in the 32nd lap bracket, from a 37.6 to a 37.9 from Kerr through to Jones, and then everyone after that is pretty much in the 31s bar Jason Holdsworth. Well, they picked up pace a little bit again now. Jason's on a mission to get around. He's going to look at making this 3 wide. Oh, he's thinking twice about it, thinking 3 times. He wants to do it. Little side draft on Shane Bowen here. Well, a little clip of the wall just kind of negated that advantage he had. He's using that number 6 as a draft. He's going to be a lot earlier into throttle, being on that high line. A little bit loose on the exit there. That low line's still the dominant one. Whoa, Shane Bowen's not giving him an inch of space. Dives it in deep.
Gonna have to this time. Because Holdsworth claims the top line and rips it around the outside of turn 1 and 2 to get the job done. And
As
again,
he drops down to block.
That's not a block. That's deep from Bowen. Bowen's overdriving corner entries at the moment.
That's really going to hurt him later in this stint. He's just going to have to accept that he's been passed and just fall back into a rhythm. You see how much distance he gets here, but then loses it all through that second half of the corner. I believe Greathead just smacked the wall just then, so that negated his advantage over Holdsworth down that back straight. It's a high-speed game of chess at the moment. Bowen's got a bit of a run. He might have a look down on the inside or maybe the outside on the Holdsworth. Doesn't quite get up to him this time around. We're on board with Jason Holdsworth. A little bit of air on that front nose. Get those engine temps down a little bit. Get right down to that blue line. You can use the blue line. It is a part of the racing surface and a part of the banking. But you do not want to go any further than that. You will hit the apron and fire straight back up in the track.
Stephen Williams, again, will have the field passing him out of 1 and 2. Back to one lap down for the DPR Simrigs driver.
Still no hood on that car. He would have used the caution period to get his lap back. So Wayne Burke started 27th up to 8, a massive 19 positions gained in this race. It's a notoriously hard track to pass that, but he just chipped away this whole race, kind of kept it quiet, got through those wrecks quietly and cleanly. Mickelmore is on his outside there, that's why you saw him run that second lane from the outside down that back straight. Good run off the corner to keep Mickelmore at bay. Mickelmore's going to tuck in behind, find out where Burke's not quite as strong. And then they've got Jaden Russell in behind, having a look, and then Matt Danson in behind him.
I think Ryan Jones is trending loose up ahead of these guys because he was very sideways coming off of turn 2. Watching just keep the car wrapping along the bottom of the racetrack off of 3 and 4. So struggling to get back to the power now. And that means that Lewis Greathead is going to start to challenge him. He moved to the high side. He won't follow him through the corner because he'll want momentum when they come off of 1 and 2. And have a look at Jones. Can't stick it to the bottom. Can't stick the landing. In the meantime, Shane Bowen's found some momentum. He's going to go around the outside of Jason Holdsworth. And Holdsworth's going to get some assistance from Wayne Burke in the background. So 18 laps into the second run of the race. And tyre wear starting to become a problem. Now, back up for P4. And Greathead will get to the inside. So he took that that run from the top. Converted it to a little bit of track position on the bottom.
All going to be about that run off the corner. Who can get the drive? It's pretty even this time around. Greathead's just going to line him back up. Drive into the corner a little bit better. Little wiggle off the corner. That just allowed Greathead to just close up. But through that quad oval, it's very hard to get underneath someone there without turning him. If they don't realise you're right on that rear quarter panel. Here's Matt Danson, just got a huge run on Josh Mickelmore. Backs out of it a little bit early, but he's going to drop down low. squeezing the hole. Josh Mickelmore accepts that he's there, just sidesteps it a little bit. Matt's got that run. Josh isn't going to fight him too hard by the looks of this. Matt's just going to then have a run up into the rear of Jason Holdsworth in front. If he can get this corner to stick, you see the 31's got such a better exit. That low line, much shorter way around the racetrack, but there's a lot more steering and a lot more speed that you've got to wipe off versus that high line. That's why you see that difference in speed. So Mickelmore, we're looking back at Lewis Greathead, having a look at another run on Ryan Jones. A little bit of a run. He's going to have a look on the low side of the corner. Can he get it turned in early? Jones has elected to take that high line to keep that momentum up. Try not to get loose. He's taking that high line to protect that right rear a little bit and just square off that corner, because that's where you're struggling the most at the moment.
Big thing is now Matt Danson drives up to Jason Holdsworth, and Holdsworth just recognises, yep, that's not my fight.
Lets him go. The longer you fight someone, the more you're going to wear out the tyres, which Danson wants to see these four guys right now do. And just push as hard as they can. We've seen Jones get loose many a time. That never helps that tyre wear situation or the tyre heat. Greathead's got another run on him. Pushes him down to that low line to try and take that high line off him. Can he use this to build that momentum down that back straight? We're on board with Shane Bowen, who's got the perfect view of this. He wants these guys to have a little bit of a tangle, not too big, that he can just drive around it and look like the absolute superstar.
One of the things I was just watching was Ryan Jones actually setting the right rear tyre and the right front tyre for the entirety of 3 and 4 on the seam in the middle of the track. You can't do that for very long. That's not good for tyre life, tyre heat. Wayne Burke's starting to drive up to these guys. Bowen will have Burke to the inside out of 2. So try.
And Danson is just buying himself into this picture as well. We've got 2x2 in front of him. So there's not too much he can do. He's just got to assess the situation, see who's looking after their tyres a little bit better. These cars are now 26 laps into this stint. Oh, very close for a bit of a side draft. Dancer doesn't want to see cars get too close. Oh, big slide there by the 89 of Wayne Burke there. Danson had picked him as the car to follow, but now he's just kind of questioned that decision a little bit as you see him dive up. Huge gain through the corner for Danson. So Danson's just got to find the line where Wayne Burke isn't, and by the looks of this, will not have any issues passing him. Gets to that low side now. Burke will have the speed advantage, but it does look like Danson just has that much of a group advantage. These cars are strung out a little bit. It's easier for Danson to pick them off one at a time. The more these guys are fought, the hotter those tyres get, the more slippery they get.
27 laps into the run now. And we've now reached and well surpassed the halfway point in this race.
These guys are not giving up just yet. You can see Lewis Greathead on the inside, looking towards the inside of Jones there. Maybe just taking a couple of laps to pull down that rear tyre. See, Greathead always gets a better run through this quad oval here, but never anywhere to go.
He's really, you see him moving around. He was definitely trying to get to Ryan Jones' outside, because once he builds that momentum on the high side, if he can lock it around the outside of turn 1 and 2, he's probably got the better line. He can build the momentum, he can complete the pass. As the tyres start to wear.
Jonesy protecting that high line there, forcing Greathead to go low. Oh, little hit of the wall. Allows Lewis to get side by side. Jones is going to try and dive it in deep.
They both are.
Great Edge just coming down the track. Matt Danson's looking to make it 3 wide. Great Edge just covers off that, turns down a little bit early. That's going to compromise his corner entry just a little bit. A little bit squirrely, a little bit loose off turn 4 there. Matt's got to just pick one of these cars. He picked... Oh, he's going to send it down 3 wide. Great Edge just run Jones right up to the wall there. Oh, I thought they were going to touch, but they've got away with it. Great Edge just backed out of it. Jones won't be overly happy with that move. Now he's got Danson, who's got a lot better conditioned tyres under him. He hasn't had to battle anyone. No one's given him too hard of a time just yet. Danson runs him right up to the wall there. Jones is going to take that high line. Danson's just not quite the high line, about that mid-track. Danson can still wrap that bottom. Will we see Stevie Dubb play the teammate game? No, it probably hindered his teammate more than anything just then.
Danson will clear, but this will present an opportunity for Lewis Greathead. And you can see Jones wanted the drafting assistance of Matt Danson. Finally, for the first time, Lewis Greathead got a nose clear as they entered 1 and 2. Now he'll try and wrap the bottom. Got a touch loose, but Ryan Jones got loose on the outside. Teammates going to work together on the inside. Here comes Wayne Burke for a little bit of pushing assistance.
That bump draft might just be all he needs to just clear him.
He's clear. He's going to take it up. He will cut him off and check the momentum. And now that Jones doesn't have clear out of the nose, now he's in trouble.
I'm going to say Wayne Burke, just fire it on the inside. Take Lewis Greathead as well.
Change up at the point of the race as well, which we'll get back to. We've nearly forgotten about the trio that have disappeared down the racetrack to the tune of about 3.5 seconds. And Jones was starting to become a cork in the bottle. You just wondered, it wasn't long before he started to fall off in terms of tyres. Didn't make it easy.
Now he's in that hornet's nest of those cars from about 7th through to 11th or so.
Well, there might be payback here. Because remember, these two from earlier in the night, they were the cause of the last caution. Mickelmore rotated off the nose. Managed to save it, no contact with any of the barriers. And Shane Bowen might cut him a break this time.
Just give him a little bit more space this time. Let's have a big slide up into the corner. He's got that double-headed pack of Shane Bowen and Josh Mickelmore in behind him. Going to make it hard for both these guys. This car is starting to get very loose. 37 laps into this stint. Or as these two get into the door of each other once again tonight, they keep it clean this time.
Again, Jones exceptionally loose. He had to lift. Shane Bowen will build the run off the outside, and now he'll get rotated off the nose of Mickelmore. It is payback.
Josh Mickelmore just tried to box him in there a little bit, but Shane Bowen, not realising he might have had just that little bit of overlap. So looking out the back of Ryan Jones here. You see Mickelmore just boxing him in and turns him around. Does he keep it off the wall? Does he keep it clear? Those flaps are doing their job to keep the car down low. Locks it down. No further damage. He's just got a lot of distance to make up on the cars around him. He drops down.
That's attempting to side draft taken to the extreme. 52 laps to the end of the race. We'll see the third set of 4 tyres used by the field, but this will be a long run from here to the flag, and you might see the pace back down quite a bit. The lead 3 might be a little bit disappointed to see that caution flag fly, and the reason for that, they were out to a convincing margin. This will bring Matt Danson's race back to life. He got to 4th. Now he'll get to pit from 4th. Now he'll get reset in behind the top 3. So the run-off pit lane, number 1 still Ethan Winter. You have the shortest run out of the lane. Zach Kerr nearly pips him. And Brad Newman nearly got pipped by Matt Danson as well.
Run out of his pit box for Matt Danson there, providing no one gets themselves a black flag. No black flags in race control, so that is good. All these drivers in and out of pit lane.
In the meantime, 39 machine of Ethan Winter.
Just notice a very slow stop for Jason Holdsworth. Might have fixed a bit of damage. He's just leaving the pit lane now. 39-second pit stop there, so to my guess, it's about 12 to 14 seconds for a set of tyres on these cars. So he's chipped off another 20 seconds.
And Ethan Winter will hang on to the lead. You can see the difference in pit lane transit time. 25 seconds extra in the box. There was chat between Tyler Williams and Jason Holmesworth about potentially some contact there, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a touch of damage to the number 8 of Holmesworth. But what was looking to be a 3-horse race has now been broken back down to the entire field still in this one. A couple cars will take waiver rounds here to keep themselves alive. Stephen Williams will grab a lap back, as will Aaron Gilbert.
We're just going to have a look at a quick replay of the overtake for this lead. You just see Ethan Winter just get a massive run off that exit. And just passing down the inside on that wide oval. And then just down, turn 1 and 2. Wraps that bottom. Brad Newman's not too far behind out of that battle, but wasn't strong enough to contend it just yet. As we see the cars just rounding out turn 4 now. Get ready to drop that pace car into pit lane. And we'll go green for the 4th time tonight.
3 cautions for cause. And we wait on entering the Geico restart zone. They'll cross the line. Green flags in the air. Winter didn't wait anywhere near as long before dropping the hammer.
You saw Kerr get right on his bumper, the door there, just grind here when that number 1 car, which was the 39 of Ethan Winter, gets to get on the gas. You see Brad Newman just get into the door of Zach Kerr there. A little bit of side draft here. Newman's going to have the advantage on that low line with those fresh tyres. They'll still be reasonably cold, so no one's got a huge amount of grip. Kerr's just got that advantage off that exit on the corner. Not quite clear yet. He's had to keep it that lane up. Kerr's going to have to use that high line. Gets a little bit loose on entry. Drives it up in the wall and clears him into the back straight there.
Matt Danson's got a decision to make. He's got Ryan Jones to his inside. Jones has been good on the short runs. In fact, Jones will clear him.
I'm going to take Tyler Williams with him as well, I believe.
Josh Mickelmore.
Josh Mickelmore, my bad, I'm sorry. So that car of Matt Danson's not quite strong off that short run. Seemed to be much better long run car, which will play to his advantage if he can keep within distance of the 3 wide with Jamie Ritchie Price, 16 of Fitzroy Beaumont, And then in behind him, Darren McKenzie. We're starting to get down to the money section of this race. Everyone can make it home from here on fuel.
Oh no!
Oh, Dave Douglas has turned.
Oh, Aaron Gilbert hard on the barrier. Backwards and into the barrier.
And cars just ploughing in. Stevie Dub managed to avoid that one.
It's Alex Sheridan. My apologies. I thought it was Aaron Gilbert. No. We got 2 O cars. Sorry, 3 O cars now. Mackenzie's the O2, the O3 of Aaron Gilbert, and the O5 of Alex Sheridan. I thought it was the O3 machine. It's O5 of Alex Sheridan.
It's a KO. You see that 05? Dave Douglas just coming up, squeezes him a little bit of a side draft, another side draft. Douglas just comes up a little bit, turns him, comes down on the apron, manages to gather it up, keep it off that inside wall, but then that corner comes up, backs it in. Oh, huge hit on that 13. For Brenton West. And we see that
also
orange
in hard.
Henry King. As we look on our chat, Trent Lavelle saying, let the chaos begin. I can tell you how demoralising that is, because that is the exact way my race ended on Thursday night. In that exact spot.
That is unfortunately racing. And sometimes it pays to be ahead of things. Sometimes it pays to be a mile behind things because you've got the time to slow down. And for Grant Matterford, Henry King and the 13 machine of Brenton West, they were all right in the thick of it. And unfortunately for them, innocent bystanders in the party that was unfolding. Heading now.
So these cars are just rounding out to finish lap number 90 under caution. We've had 4 cautions for 11 laps, 14 lead changes of this race. Our producer have just asked the question, who has led the most laps, do you think? Has it been Ethan Winter? Has it been Zach Kerr? There's been 14 lead changes, so... my guess would have to be Zach Kerr. So there's Zach Kerr, led 72 laps of this race. Ethan Winter, he's going to lead this lap. 19 laps led. The lights are out on this pace car. We've racked them. We've stacked them. We're going to get ready to go racing. Right after this extended run on the back straight. There's our temperature, 30 degrees in Australian temperature, 86 Fahrenheit on the track temp. Not too hot, but not too cold. Little bit of wind. That cloudy condition will have a bit of an impact. As we can hear, Matt Danson not too happy with Fitzroy Beaumont in behind him. Just giving him a little bit of bump under caution. We've seen that end in tears in different series across the Australian NASCAR E-Series and our Australian NASCAR Championships. Lights are out on the pace car. It's into the pit lane. We're going to get ready to do this one more time. Ethan Winter's going to come into this restart zone. Put the hammer down. Green flag waves again. You see cars just bobble in and out. They're on a bit warmer tyres now. Wheel spin will be a real thing. We saw Cletus McFarlane in that ARCA race on Friday night get very loose. These guys do not want to do that. We can see Brad Newman on the inside of Zach Kerr. Side by side down this front straight, back straight I should say. Danson having a look on the inside of Michael.
Oh no!
Newman's just managed to turn Winter, but Winter holds it. They're all letting him gather it back up to race him cleanly. Newman's to the outside. Winter just runs him up high there. Newman's going to try and clear down. There's not the room with that Vermilion car in the back. It's allowed Kerr to jump out to a 0.8 of a second lead. There's a little bit of beef in this crowd. They do not want to give anything up. So now Winter's put the hammer down to try and pull that distance on Newman. He's got a much better short run car. He's got to chase down Zach Kerr once again. We've seen it already tonight. We'll see it again. Got great head on the outside of Jones there. We've seen Jones just battle a loose race car all night. He won't be wanting to go too hard unless he's made adjustments that he's very comfortable with.
Oh no, contact in the middle of the back of the field. I think Tyler Williams just touched up. Wasn't Jamie Ritchie-Price. There's a car back there falling like a rock at the moment. Sam Smith and Tyler Williams come together off the exit of 3 and 4. Just a nudge, but it was enough.
Next car in front of Tyler Williams will be Mr. Matt Danson. Or Holdsworth just about to pass him now. In the back of that shot, that teal car, there it is. Ryan Jones just having a bit of a look on the back of that number 6 of Lewis Greathead. So they go single file, sort out what tyre condition they've got, get them up to temperature again, get everything settled down. See Jones still having a look at that back bumper. Just reading the sponsors off so we can give him a call this week. That Vermilion Esports. Little bit of a move in the background there. You can see the 02 making a move on the 14 of Jamie Ritchie-Price. The 02's Darren McKenzie. There's 2 cars in the background. The 20 is Sam Smith, and then Shane Bowen there, who's been in a bit of a thick of things a couple times this night, so he's just going to want to keep it clean. Managed to keep it out of the barriers for the 2 spins he's managed to collect it from. On the inside of Jamie Ritchie-Price in that pink and purple Toyota Supra. There's not too much happening a bit further in front though. I can see in those longer shots Jones on the outside of I believe Lewis Greathead again. Lewis is going to run him up the track, make him go a little bit deep. Jones is just going to come down, going to get a little bit of a side draft. Jones just enjoying that high line, trying to keep that mid-speed. 36 laps to go. We've just cropped over onto lap 100.
35 now to go, Dorman, to the end of the race, and this is where it gets important. Few drivers at the start of this run looking at the run and going, it's 52 laps to home. We're going to back up their runs and look after the rubber a little bit better. This is the longest run we'll do tonight if it goes green. First run of the race, 43 laps on the tyres. Nobody took tyres at that first pit stop of the night. 39 laps in that run. So we're expecting somewhere, based upon the averages, we should expect a caution somewhere about lap 120.
Which will really spice it up. They'll all come down for another set of tyres and have a real hard run to the end of the race, which we could see a bit of a caution fest if it falls that way. We don't want it to be a caution fest. We want the car to run green to show who is the best in Australia. Is it going to be Zach Kerr going for his 4th win of the season? Ethan Winter, can he steal one, or can Brad Newman pull something out to get that long run working for him if we stay green? Oh, big hit on the wall there.
The number 6 Chevy Camaro. Lewis Greathead in the number 6. Tagging the wall.
You want to take it easy. Couple laps.
He's actually starting to close in on Ryan Jones. This is Jansen once again. Chilled out on the tyres in the first 20 laps of that run. Now he'll start to press up.
Dropped like a stone after that pit stop. You saw him come down out of the pit lane in 4th. Dropped down to 9. Bit of a side draft on Micklemore there. Micklemore's taken that higher line. Elects to not go too close to him. Jansen just with that extra grip and that shorter distance easily clears him. He's going to have a look on the back of Fitzroy Beaumont in just a matter of lap or two. Jansen's definitely got that car dialed in for the long run. We see the gap up to Zach Kerr just close up now. We can see Ethan Winters only 0.2 of a second behind him now. This could be a battle for the lead. We could see a 15th lead change. You can see the last lap that Ethan Winter did was a 31.35 I should say, versus a 31.39, so he's about half a tenth quicker than that leader at the moment. Doesn't sound like much, but when there's only 3 tenths in it, that's 6 laps.
I can tell you Fitzroy Beaumont just got a touch loose off of turn 4 and got a little bit of a hurry up from Matt Danson as well. So Danson is starting to press on. He's up to 8th spot.
Wayne Burke's just starting to have a look on the back. Brad Newman now. Haven't seen anything overly spectacular from Newman yet this race. He's just been the quiet achiever. There's Matt Danson just making that position on Lewis Greathead there. Just comes up in front, clears him, lets him know he's there. And then Matt isn't very happy. Fitzroy Bowman fires back, saying that's just racing.
Well, to be fair, Fitzroy Beaumont's a touch tight, and I've got to be honest, he's overdriving his entries. He's just overdriven the entry to turn 3 a couple laps in a row. That's the entire reason why Danson got by. In actual fact, I think he lost the spot. Fitzroy Beaumont just lost the spot. He was ahead of Micklemore. So, as much as the temper might be starting to rise, he needs to handle that because he's overdriving at the moment. And look, he can't keep the car stuck. And look at the wheel work at the moment. That is a car that's right on edge.
We follow him into 1 and 2. He'll fire it down, and then he'll probably end up cranking more wheel on. There it is. You can see him trying to fight down to keep it there. And here we're looking Matt Danson just making it on the move on Fitzroy Beaumont's teammate. He's got Ryan Jones right in front of him. If he can get underneath Jones here, he might get a 2-for-1 special on this Sunday night in the Australian NASCAR Championships.
I thought Jones would be about to get a nose shoved on him 3 wide off the exit of 4 as well, because he is starting to ail yet again. And Lewis Greathead is again trying to come back at him.
Jones is right on his bumper there. These two have had a bit of history in the different series across this. You see how Matt Danson just gets that grip early in the corner, manages to keep that advantage all through the corner. He's cleared Ryan Jones and going to make a move on catching Brad Newman now. He's got a bit of clean air. You see he's taking a very different line to Brad to keep that air on the front of his car, a little bit extra downforce. We can see Winter just closed it up that 1/10 of a second into Zach Kerr. We saw this the last time around, that Ethan Winter went and just closed up and closed up and closed up that gap. Getting a good run Let's have a look on board here with Ethan Winter. See how his wheel work is. Gets it down nice and early. No major inputs. Oh, they're a little bit tight through the mid corner.
It's just look
Squares it back up.
How little the difference in wheel work between Winter and Fitzroy Beaumont's night and day.
Just holds it there. Little bit loose off the corner a little. Nothing major. Kerr's responded. He's put another 0.2 of a second on him over the last couple of laps. Now Winter's trying to run that high line. Tried something different. That low line's cost him about 0.2 of a second over a couple of laps. So here he's starting to look back down to that low line. Might be where he's more comfortable with. There could be a battle on for 4th place shortly with Brad Newman and Matt Danson.
Shortly, I think it's here. I think it's here because he's right there off of the exit of turn 2. Newman will obviously run the longer way around, maintain momentum down the back straightaway. But Danson's a lot closer, and again, just look at the difference. Newman can't hold the bottom line, whereas Danson's got the grip to be able to do that. You got the nose underneath him here. Now Newman's been running the high line, so he probably won't be too opposed to being on the outside.
Just let him go there. As we return for the lead, as we come straight onto that picture, you see Kerr hit the wall. He's just getting challenged here by Ethan Winter. Might be pushing a little bit hard. You might see these tyres drop off. And Winter just come back little by little. He's been a qualifying specialist, Ethan Winter, but yet to break through for that race win.
There'll be 19 laps left to run here now as well. 33 laps on the stint. Reminder, first stint went the distance of 43. So we're 10 laps away from the longest green flag run of the night. Well, sorry, that one wasn't even green flag run. It was 36 laps. So we're actually only a couple laps away.
Ethan Winter smashed the wall coming out of turn 2 just now. On the other half of this lap. Let's see if he can hold him. Loads up that gap running into the corner. They're both running different versions of that high line. Those dirt track races, they don't mind being up near the wall, but then on that transition down the hill, that wall comes in very quick. Two very different lines at either end of this racetrack. They're both taking the high line 1 and 2, and then that low line. There's other battles throughout the track, but we're just concentrating on this lead battle at the moment. Just watching this game of chess. See them both get pretty loose. Oh, big block there by Zach Kerr. Drops down that low line. That might compromise his speed around the corner. Zach Kerr doesn't want to give it to him.
Oh, that's a block.
Winter got run right down into that opening chicane from the road course there. Winter's going to give him a bit of a nudge. Winter's going to give him a bit of another bit of a nudge maybe. Kerr can't answer this. There's that overlap now. If he tries to block him now, he will get turned across the nose. Ethan Winter has managed to now just get the nose ahead. We've seen it all night. In the background. In that Danson has covered off Wayne Burke, managed to get it in front. Will Winter clear him coming off turn 2? There's a bit of lap traffic that will come into play shortly. They're still side by side, side drafting down this back straight. Winter's just starting to wash up a little bit. He's got to be careful he doesn't do that too much and turn him. As we see Matt Danson in behind, just as we see a little bit of contact, they gather it back up. Side by side into 1 and 2, they've given themselves a little space. Winter has just managed to clear him. But now with the run, that number 12 is Zach Kerr just down that back straight. Might not be too happy with how that went down.
It's going to be a slide job.
Going to slide up in front. There's not a whole lot of room. Got to be careful doing that you don't turn yourself against his nose. Coming up into that lap traffic of Stevie Dub.
I'd like to see Stevie Williams get to the bottom of the racetrack and completely get out of the way right here. He's not relevant to the race, but he's going to stay out there. Zach Kerr is going to stay on the high side, so he does stay clear of these guys. That will solve the battle for a little bit longer. They'll get back to the race.
One of these guys are fighting. Anson is just getting closer and closer. See Winter get another run. Going to give him another bump maybe. Not quite. Try and get underneath him now.
Oh, you got the apron.
Drifts up. They're both sliding through the corner. Can they hang on to it? This is allowing that second group of Danson, Burke and Newman to just kind of range back up. Newman's probably a little bit too far away though.
Well, there's no love lock between these guys anymore, Aaron. They've traded paint on a number of occasions. And with 11 laps to run, 11 by 1.5. What's that going to give you? Somewhere around 16, 17 mile left to run. Winter will switch back to the high side, but Matt Danson.
Who punched his ticket in for this end of the race? 11 to go. These two have been holding each other. So he's 0.3 of a second quicker than those two leaders at the moment as they're battling on. Danson's managed to save his tyres a fair bit. Winter's still on his inside. There's no advantage between these two cars at the moment, but advantage third place. He's just got this roadblock of these two cars fighting directly in front. He's in that danger zone. If these two come together, he's not that far behind. He's got to pick a driver to try and follow through and push through to the lead, so then he can have an attack to the lead. So he's probably going to want to push Zach Kerr to the lead. Those two have a little bit of less history. Winter's not going to give Danson a mile. Those two have had plenty of run-ins at the end of the races lately.
And have a look at the side drafting. There is nothing between these guys as they sail it off into 3. And Kerr set it a little bit deeper. Trying to see if he can get the nose clear. Is there going to be a nose showing from Danson? Yes, there is. But the room's going to run out. He's going to have to force the support. Tries to show the nose. Back to the middle. Here we go. Under 10 to go. Australian NASCAR Championships. And the 3 that have had the best pace this season, 2 of them with 3 wins in the book. And Ethan Winter searching for his first. Touch more side drafting. What do? Do you side draft or do you block? And what do you do from Danson's perspective? Do you let these guys to continue having a go at each other? Zach Kerr has cleared Ethan Winter off of 3 and 4. So now we get back to single file racing. They get to the stripe, 7 laps to go. And time starts to expire. What would this mean to Ethan Winter? This would mean a playoff spot. He hasn't locked one in yet. That's important. Zach Kerr and Danson will be there. There's no way to knock them out of contention now. You'd have to see a bunch of drivers get 3 wins. There's not a choices in the season. Winter gets back down there to the inside. Now he's overdriving the entry just to make sure that he's alongside.
And see Danson there, that gave him a huge advantage, but he just ends up with that roadblock. Danson's going to fire it on the inside here. Those two have taken the high line. Danson, can he make this stick on that low line? And take...
Loose! Danson loose off of turn 2 now. So he had to bail out of the throttle or the car would have gone around.
I reckon the 12 of Zach Kerr was a little bit loose too. That helped the 39. Look how much deeper Danson can go through that corner.
Now he gets to the inside of Ethan Winter. Ethan Winter will be forced to slide up. Kerr might offer a little bit of drafting assistance. Did he know that Danson was loose off the bottom of 1 and 2? To the right rear, the pressure will go for Matt Danson. Ethan Winter has a great run off the top, and again, he can't quite stay. Foot to the floor.
Danson tried to make him lift out of the throttle. Winter, being that dirt track racer, loves running the fence. Danson's got no advantage in 1 and 2, but huge amount of advantage. A little bit of dooring. Danson's probably not happy with how Winter's run him down to that bottom of the track a few times. Trying to make that pass stick. We're looking at 3 different lines here. Danson momentarily, the thing very loose off the corner there. That's allowed Danson to keep this advantage. We can see that pace advantage that Danson's got through 3 and 4. He's clear there. He's just going to tuck up on the back of the 12. Winter looking on the outside now. Oh, Danson's got to be careful he doesn't turn himself across the nose. There's 3 to go.
And Zach Kerr got a touch loose on the bottom that time. The critical factor for Matt Danson was threading the needle. He did thread the eye of the needle, bouncing off the wall. That'll be Ethan Winter's day done. His chance to win the race will now go the wayside. And what was a 3-way stoush becomes 2. Loose off the top was Ethan Winter. It was fire in the belly for the driver of the 39 tonight. But the current 2, they're equal 3-time winners on the series thus far, will go toe-to-toe. We're effectively in what you'd call a pseudo green-white checker fashion right now. Danson's weakest aspect of the racetrack has been Zach Kerr's strongest as they run down the back straightaway. 1.5 miles when they get back to the stripe. There's probably about 2 at the moment. 3 and 4. This is where if Matt Danson's going to win it, he's not led a lap all through the day. At the start of lap 134, he's not going to lead when they get back to the stripe. It's still 1 more lap led for Zach Kerr. 1.5 miles. White flag in the air. And shadows crawl over the track in 1. Who's going to win it? He's waited all night. He's not loose. He gets great drive off of 1 and 2, and that might be it. That might be enough. Your championship lead looks like this in the points column. Kerr is going to drive it in deep. He forces Danson to rotate it off the bottom. He's given him no breathing room. He gets him tight. They'll bang doors off of 4. Who gets the run to the flag? Kerr got to run. They'll bang. They'll beat. There's nothing at the line, and they trade paint afterwards. Zach Kerr winner. And I tell you what, we'll go to the scoring. We've got a banger. We've got one. The closest finish in Australian NASCAR Championship history. 5 thousandths of a second at Charlotte. And it needs a replay. This one needs to go to quarter speed. Forget that. Can you make this lap last for 5 minutes? I'd watch it 7 or 8 times. There's the first bit of contact. Kerr tries to get Danson tight. He does get him tight. He unloads the car. The problem was he's on the outside and Danson could have fed him to the fence at any point in time. Now he'll try and slow the momentum because he recognizes that Kerr's much ahead. There'll be 5 thousandths at the flag. What does that look like? Well, there's the strike. And Zach Kerr had to run away from Matt Danson. Because another touch, and there would have been nothing between them. 5 thousandths of a second, Dorman. I've never seen a race that close at Charlotte. Never! Super Speedway, sure. But never from the intermediate of Charlotte. And we're going to get you the best shot that we can to give you the breakdown at the start-finish line. 5 thousandths of a second. What does it look like? The P1 Docks number 12 off the top rope. That. Nothing in it.
There would have been a bit of bumping and banging. Ethan Winter dropped down to 5th in that place. We got Wayne Burke rounding out 3rd place with Josh Mickelmore in 4th. So if we bring up our official results now. So taking that win by 5 thousandths of a second, a Zach Kerr for Nexus Esports times P1 Docks. Then Matt Danson, Wayne Burke, Josh Mickelmore, Ethan Winter, Brad Newman, Tyler Williams, Lewis Greathead, Fitzroy Beaumont, and Jason Holdsworth rounding out your top 10.
They were 275 kilometers an hour at the start-finish line. They were doing approximately 76 meters per second. So I can tell you the winning margin of 0.005 of a second equates to about 38 centimeters. That's how much was between those two cars at the line. 38 centimeters, less than 0.4 of a meter, not even half a meter at the stripe to bring it home 0.005 of a second. Right, outside the top 10, Shane Bowen, Ryan Jones will drift back after burning up his tyres in that final run of the race, back to 12th spot. Dave Douglas, Jamie Ritchie, Darren McKenzie. Sam Smith and Henry King on the lead lap. Henry King, by the look of it, only just. Stephen Williams would manage to maintain at one lap down after what was a fairly junked race car. That's actually quite an impressive effort, over 134 laps to stay at one lap down. Aaron Gilbert was out there and circulating. Brenton West, Grant Matterford, Alex Sheridan caught up in that big wreck to set us with a 52-lap run to home. Jaden Russell retiring a little bit earlier on. Brenton Hobson as well after that lap 1 wreck. Very, very early on, lap 5 incident. Sam Chapman, Lachlan Mead and Tom Freer also involved in that one. Closest finish in the series' history. I did not think would come from Charlotte.
What a cracking end to that race. Door banging. So we're going to take a quick moment to gather our breath, maybe have a drink of water from shouting all that time, and then we'll get into our interviews.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Righto, and after that one, we needed a breather because I can tell you I've been commentating for an entire weekend of real-world race cars, and I had nothing left coming into this one. So the fact that we got showed with that one, Wayne Burke was a bit of a spectator there at the race end, but cruised through 3 separate cautions, gave you 3 opportunities to reset every single time. For you, Wayne Burke, was a few positions grabbed, a few positions grabbed, a few positions grabbed, but you looked like you had a strong long-run car, always giving up a couple spots at the front end of a run, but getting them back and more at the back end of the race.
Yeah, and you, like, especially this series, we've had so many green flag runs, it was just super important to look after the tyre early, so you can have a car at the end, like with which was cool. And it is so good having all these green flag runs because you're able to stay clean and get into your rhythm, which is great. And I think the racing's better for it. But yeah, like it was good on the long run, not quite good enough at the end there. Got a bit tight on me. That last like 10 laps, and I just couldn't close up on the front 3. But yeah, to get away with another good points result, which is good. And then we'll go again 2 weeks.
I think the big thing for you this season has just sort of been, particularly from the start of the season to where you're tracking now. Obviously, the Super Speedway package was quite strong to start off for the Vermilion Esports team, and first and second all the way back at Daytona, but to now chase that up with a podium out here at the home of Motorsport. So it seems like the older the NASCAR track, the better you and the boys are doing.
Yeah, we've got a good link up with our setups with the Conti guys over in the States, so they help us out a lot. And yeah, I sort of like the older tracks too because you can sort of drive them, and they come down to the driver a bit more than some of the newer surfaces where the tyre doesn't wear as much. But yeah, we're having a pretty good run in Vermilion. I think we had 3 in the top 10 today. That's another good result. Just need to get some wins, really, for those bonus points.
A little bit of momentum heading into the playoffs will certainly be something you guys are looking for. Congratulations on another P3. Another strong outing, overtaking your way through to earn the hard charges tonight. 24 positions gained after a mistake in qualifying. Hey, didn't really matter at the back end, just gave you a lot of practice overtaking cars, which, you'll put that to good use. Who'd you like to give a shout-out and thank you to, Mr. Wayne Burke?
Yeah, just like to thank the guys at Vermilion Motorsports, Conti Setups, Race Lab, NAF 96 Design, Supernova Motorsports, and the Kart Shop.
Mate, congratulations on P3 here tonight. Go and celebrate and enjoy that one and relax a little bit after a long weekend of motorsport and probably a longer night of motorsport as we head into the Crown Jewel events right the world over.
Thank you.
Take one step further forward and to the man who missed out by that much, Matt Danson, the margin of winning. I went and did some math. 275 kilometers an hour at the start-finish line. That equates to 38 centimeters over 5 thousandths of a second. That was the difference between you and first place tonight.
That's very upsetting.
Mate, the difficulty that we're seeing for you in that last run was struggling to get the drive off for turn 1 and 2. The ability for the car to wrap the bottom down in 3 and 4 was supreme. You knew that. You knew that's where you were setting a lot of the overtakes up. But that hole for that 10 laps, that last 10 laps, it only opened up once or twice, and you had to take every opportunity that was presented.
Yeah, that's very spot on, actually. I couldn't have said it better myself. Pretty much it was getting a nice run off turn 4 because I was just flying through there, really hooking the bottom. And then the sort of objective through 1 and 2, again, I felt comfortable in the bottom, but it's the way the corner is and the speed that was there. It actually was pretty fast up high, 1 and 2. I can't run the top, but if you have that sort of skill level, then you could, you had quite good speed there. So the objective was just to try and be strong enough to, they're going to get a nice run off 2, but if I can just be at their door or make them not be able to take the bottom in 3 and 4, then I had them at that point. You know what I mean? That was sort of the process. And unfortunately, like you said, a few times I had a nice run. There was a few times where I almost thought I was getting a 2-for-1 special. Once I did catch Ethan and Zach, because they were both having their own little ding dong, of course, and I just arrived on the scene, and they'd both kind of push up the track, and I was really getting through there, and Ethan, obviously, he's doing what he's got to do. He kind of cut down and a few times just kind of killed the momentum as a result of that. But I feel like there might have been a moment just in those last couple of laps getting by Ethan, perhaps, or when I was maybe below both of them. I think we might have had a 3 wide moment, and I think I just slid it just a little bit too much in 1 and 2, and that just took a small percentage off my advantage in 3 and 4 for those last couple of laps. And also, I probably could have been more aggressive below Zach, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'd probably replay that a million times and see fault in what I did there. But ultimately, as I said to Zach before, I mean, obviously, awesome win for him. Great drive and thoroughly deserved, of course. I think he moves ahead now with the most wins. So that's unfortunate. But this is about as happy as I can be with losing. I don't think if you're on the losing side of any of these battles, you rarely that was great racing. It's kind of through gritted teeth. But in this one, I'm very much looking forward to watching it back because it felt fun.
Yeah, it certainly played out fun out in our screens as well. Few tempers getting the better of you in that final run as well. There's obviously some banter back and forth. Cutting your way through the field, I think tonight was one of the more difficult things. There was a number of times we were watching your progress, and it just sort of, there would be a nose, there'd be a clear advantage, and all of a sudden that hole would just disappear at the last possible moment. So
Yeah, no, that's true. I think. Well, I mean, I try to keep a equilibrium, I guess, because the tempers make you drive worse. Really, I wasn't too flared up, I wouldn't say necessarily, but I definitely was frustrated. Let's put it that way. I feel like if you catch someone from a long way back, multiple seconds, fair enough. Lay a block, do what you got to do. But once they got around you and are clearly faster, I don't really understand the point in just driving into the rear end of that car. I mean, it was also the same car that was driving into me under yellow, so I don't really understand what's going on there. But I mean, they finished 6 seconds off, so I think there's probably more things for them to worry about than trying to drive in the back of other cars. Maybe just focus on hitting their lines and not being a 10-lap hero, I suppose. But at the end of the day, that's racing, right? Like, tempers flare every now and again, and they'll feel I was in the wrong, I'll feel they were in the wrong. But it is what it is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to the conclusion of the interview for Matt Danson. You were a 30-centimetre ruler and a small chunk of the next one short at the line. And, mate, don't go measure it. Don't go measure it. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. And that goes for multiple things in life. Don't measure it. Mate, congratulations on the result. Who would you like to give a thank you to tonight?
Obviously, all the boys at Altus, of course, Altus Engineering as well. For the quality sets, Race Tech Gaming. Shout out to Zach as well. Like I said, I mean, I hate losing, but look at that. Look at those pictures there. As far as the show's concerned, that's pretty sweet. So I'm proud of that. Happy about that. I really wanted to link into his door, actually, like coming to the line, because I felt like if I could just merge into his door and just lock him there, then he wouldn't have that momentum. But he saw that coming and kind of turned away from it, as he was saying, and that caused our cars to kind of bounce off each other, and he continued his momentum. So spewing on that. But shout out Alex, shout out Ollie, and of course everyone involved behind the scenes for putting it on. They go through a lot, obviously having to put up with all of us. So thank you to all of them, and all the drivers. Obviously, like I said, we get stuck into each other, but at the end of the day, it's a hobby we all share, and it's lots of fun. So glad we all do it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I took away from the interview there is, even though there was some, frustration with what went on, the biggest thing to take away is that there's differing opinions on everything that goes on a racetrack. You can land it perfectly on the opposite side of the same, there's a heads and a tails to every coin, right? And sometimes there is a different point of view. Sometimes you're the side of the coin that faces up into the air, and you'll be declared the winner, and sometimes you'll be the one facing into the cement. Thank you very much for your time, Matty Danson. We'll see you again from next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, too easy. Thanks, Scott.
And we'll take one final chat to the man who won. We just mentioned the margin to Matt Danson. Zach Kerr, do you want to know what the margin looks like in terms of distances at 275 kilometres an hour?
Was it less than I thought?
38 centimetres is what it looks like at 5 thousandths of a second.
That's incredible.
200 miles of racing condensed to 38 centimetres at the line. Obviously, there's a few tricks that you can try and do off a turn 4 to halt the momentum of the cars. Danson said he tried to use all of them. You outsmarted him on the run out there. But the big thing is you got him tight entering 3 and 4, and that was the big key, because you knew he was always going to be strong on the bottom of 3 and 4. You had to do something different. You couldn't let him run his own line, and I did see elements of that on the last lap. It was a send down into 3 and 4, but most importantly, it was how you manipulated the air around the race cars as well.
Oh, no doubt. I knew coming into 3 and 4 on that final lap, where I had to put my car to be in the best position coming off of 4, which I managed to just put it perfectly on its door and then use that middle seam to give me the best traction off the corner. And then, coming to the line, we both knew exactly what we were doing, and we're going to hit each other in the door to cancel each other's momentum, but I just got the better end of it.
In terms of things, 200 miles comes down to a last lap drag race to the line with contact. Is there any better way to celebrate one of the crown jewel races in the NASCAR season?
I don't think there's any better way to win it after a long race like that.
In terms of things now, that'll step you one win forward, so you will get the lead back, and it'll be 4 wins on terms of the season. Absolutely locked into the playoffs at this point in time, and bonus points looking fantastically in your favour as well. Does it fill you with a little bit more confidence heading into the second half of the regular season, knowing you've got the bonus point lead, you've got the playoff point lead when we get to the postseason? Looking forward to the start of August and the final round of the regular season on the 3rd of August back at Daytona.
Definitely feels good knowing I have that little bit of an advantage coming towards the end of the season. I think no matter what, though, I just got to stay on my A game and bring the best I can every week.
In terms of things, it's been fantastic seeing the battling out on the racetrack, and that last lap I think is going to live on in league legend for a very, very long time. Congratulations on the race win. Tonight's race win of a 5,000th of a second, 38 centimetres. Zach Kerr, who would you like to give a thank you to for the number 12?
Massive thanks to all the Nexus Esports guys, P1 Docs for sponsoring the car, Cosman from Splash and Go for the paint scheme, and you guys for the broadcast.
And Zach, how many times are you going to watch that last lap back next week?
Probably all week.
Well, I got bad news for you. It's Coke 600 week, it's Indy 500 week, and the Monaco GP's on. So is there time on the schedule, really?
I reckon I can fit it in between them.
Mate, congratulations. We'll see you again next time out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring our racing action to a close. Aaron Dorman, 200 miles of Charlotte, 5,000th of a second, and that margin, that number, 38 centimetres. Did you think it could get that
how close these guys are, how much work they put in. You've got these two just time and time again. They've got 7 wins for the season between them now. There's only one other person who's managed to steal a race win at Daytona for round 1.
Yeah, and that really is the margin. 8 rounds in the books, 3 winners, 4 of them to Zach Kerr, 3 of them to Danson, and Lewis Greathead, the tiebreaker at the moment, with that one win all the way back at the start of the season. Have a look at Wayne Burke in terms of the point standings as well. He's right there in terms of championship points. Actually sits second overall if you were to not count all of the wins. You take those out there, 211 points on the way in tonight. Lose a touch of ground to Matt Danson, but he will solidify that 3rd point spot, which means heading out the other side, he'll extend margin to Shane Bell and extend margin to Jason Holmesworth. In fact, he's probably not that far away from locking himself mathematically into playoff contention as well as we head to the second half of the regular season. So that'll be the next point we start contending with, is these drivers will have to lock themselves in a duel realistically for the finale in Daytona on the 3rd of August. But before we get there, June the 8th from Michigan. I love this racetrack. 2 miles of smooth racing. Unlike its cousin, the Auto Club Speedway, which has been knocked down. That's the bumpy 2-miler. Pocono, 2.5 miles, so 2 long tracks. That's what we're looking at over the next 2 rounds. Chicago Street Course, Indianapolis, and Daytona. Well, the 4 speedways, the shortest of them to come is Michigan next time out at 2 miles. Then you get the 2.5 miles of Pocono, 2.5 miles in Indianapolis, and 2.5 miles at Daytona. Chicago Street Course, the one oddity before we get into the round of 12. That's what we've got coming our way. Is there one racetrack on there that you're looking at and you're like, you've got to really dominate here?
They're all pretty tough ones. That last round at Daytona can throw up a surprise winner. But they're all very different tracks. You've got the 2-miler, you've got Pocono where you're braking and your cornering's going to play into it massively. And then the Chicago Street Course. These guys are going to have to turn right for the first time for the season. And that's just going to throw up another huge challenge for these guys. You could have someone from the Vermilion guys might come through for a win. They're very good at the road courses. There's just so many different people that could come through with somewhere like that.
Well, anything could happen. Are you going to be here in 2 weeks' time? Michigan will give us a draft pack fest. It'll also be a tyre race as well. Where will you be on the 8th of June? We'll be reliving that replay. We might even have to get that queued up as a part of the pre-race show next time out as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to bring you another race here at the Australian NASCAR Championship. 5,038 centimetres the margin. What will be the difference when we get to Michigan? See you in 2 weeks' time.